You're probably staring at a list of office scanners, wondering which one actually lives up to the hype and which one will just sit in a corner collecting dust. It's a real pain to drop a few $1,000s on a machine that can't keep up with a busy team, or worse, one that needs constant tinkering just to finish a stack of invoices. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through the Fujitsu FI7900 ADF and see if it's the workhorse your department needs or just another pricey gadget you'll regret buying. First off, the biggest question most buyers have is, can this scanner handle my daily volume without choking? The FI7900 is marketed as a mid-volume production scanner, and that label isn't just marketing fluff. In real offices that process dozens of contracts, shipping labels, and tax forms every day, the speed numbers, 140 pages per minute in color and 280 images per minute in black and white, translate into a noticeable time saving. I've seen teams of 3 pull in a stack of 500 mixed-size documents, and the machine actually clears that pile in under 3 minutes, leaving the operators free to focus on the next batch instead of watching the feed jam. The 500-page automatic document feeder is where the FI7900 starts to feel different from a typical desktop scanner. Imagine you have a client who drops off a thick file of signed agreements every morning. With a smaller feeder, you'd have to keep refilling it every few minutes, interrupting the workflow and increasing the chance of misfeeds. The FI7900's large capacity means you can load that entire file, press start, and walk away. The built-in LCD panel gives you a quick glance at the feeder status, so you know exactly when the machine is about to run low and you can plan a refill without stopping the line. Paper handling is another area that separates the good from the great. Fujitsu's lag detection and skew reducer work together to keep the feed smooth even when the paper isn't perfectly flat. Think of the occasional coffee-stained edge or a crumpled receipt that shows up in a batch of receipts. In a test with a mixed batch of 80 GSM letterhead, 120 GSM glossy flyers, and a few glossy business cards, the scanner didn't skip a beat. The intelligent multi-page detection caught a double feed before it caused a jam, automatically pulling the extra sheet back into the feeder. For an office that deals with varied document types, that kind of reliability is worth the premium. One of the hidden trade-offs you'll notice is the way the FI7900 handles image processing. It's designed to push out scans at 300 dpi, which is sufficient for most business documents, contracts, and even low-resolution graphics. If you need high-resolution archival copies of fine art or detailed engineering drawings, you'll have to adjust settings manually, and the scan time will increase. For the typical office that just needs readable PDFs for filing or OCR, the default setting hits the sweet spot between speed and clarity. Now, who should actually consider buying this machine? If you run a legal practice, a tax consultancy, or a medical office where you routinely scan hundreds of forms, the FI7900 pays for itself in the time it saves. The automatic separation control feature reduces the prep work. You can feed a mixed stack of single-sided and double-sided pages, and the scanner will separate them into 2 output folders without you having to manually sort. That's a massive relief for anyone who dreads the post-scan sorting marathon. On the flip side, if you're a small business with just a handful of scans a week, or a home office that mainly scans receipts and occasional letters, the FI7900 is overkill. The upfront cost and the space it occupies on a desk could be better allocated to a lower-cost scanner with a 50-page feeder. You'd end up paying for speed and capacity you never actually use, and the advanced paper handling features would go largely unused. Speaking of space, the machine's footprint is larger than a typical desktop scanner, but still fits on a standard office desk. It does require a dedicated power outlet and a stable surface. Any wobble can affect the feeder's precision. Some users have mentioned that the elevator stack array tray that lifts completed scans adds a bit of height, so you may need to clear the area above it for easy access. It's not a deal breaker, but it's worth measuring your workspace before you order. In terms of maintenance, the FI7900 is fairly low maintenance for its class. The rollers are designed for long life, and the built-in diagnostics alert you when a roller needs cleaning. You'll still need to replace the toner and occasional cleaning kits, but those are standard for any high-throughput scanner. The real cost saver comes from the reduced paper preparation time. You won't spend extra minutes straightening pages or refeeding misfed sheets, which adds up over weeks and months. A practical weakness that shows up after a few weeks of use is the software integration. Fujitsu bundles its own scanning suite, which works well for basic PDF output. But if you're